As I ask my final question, Senator, I just want to thank you yet again for coming here today in a forum hosted and run by young voters. It really does a lot to show to young voters that we're important and that mainstream politicians take us seriously. So I thank you for that. Then, you just talked about the Supreme Court, which made me think of an on-the-spot question. The recent Supreme Court hearing demonstrated support for a voter ID law. One, are you in favor of a national voter ID? And secondly, what election reform measures do you recommend to increase access?
I'm not in favor of anything that's going to reduce people's right to vote. And if you think about the people who are least likely to have one of these IDs that meet the criteria of any voter ID, they're seniors, they're the poorest Americans, they're disabled Americans, they're the young Americans. That's exactly right. That whole group of Americans would have their voting rights at risk if we particularly had a stringent voter ID identification law. So in general, no, I don't support it. I do think we need to ensure that people who vote have the right to vote, but it can be done in different ways. And I'm afraid that that'll do nothing but suppress the vote. I do think we need election reform. I personally am very uneasy about these electronic voting machines, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about it. But I'd like to see America actually go, except for making certain we take care of Americans with disabilities, to a paper ballot, so that we know that when you vote, you can see in your hand who you voted for, you'll know that it was counted correctly, and there's an audit trail that if it ever becomes an issue, you can actually go back to the actual ballots themselves to determine what happened. So those are my basic ideas. One last thing. Also, we need to publicly finance all our campaigns.